Hi everyone, how are you? Welcome back to my Flosstube number 9. I didn't think I'd get a chance to film another video or really have much content before Christmas, but I do have quite a few bits and pieces around me that I can see now. So I thought I would film one. Had a couple of finishes and stuff, so yeah, I'll get into going through everything I've got here. So I've had two ornament finishes that I've done since my last video. One's this free design from Erin Elizabeth, and you can get that online at where is she? thestitchingdesigner.com, I think that's under. So put that down. Oh, actually I might need that to put my finish. So there's my finish of the wee snowman. So what I've used for that, I've backed it in a wee piece of fabric that Stitchy Susan gave me last year in our Advent swap. I've got given a pile, I think I've said before, I got given a pile of fabrics by the lady at the antique shop in Milton, and I just used a piece of her fabric, which was, I think Susan and I worked out was a 22 count Hardanger fabric, maybe. But it was so nice to stitch on, and my stitches are so tiny. So that kind of put me on. Oh, that was really exciting, stitching on that fabric, and I'd like to do more on it. So I've got something I'll show you in a minute that I've also done. But yeah, he finished really nicely. So where am I going to put him? Down there, pleased with that. I've also finished this Deck the Halls, which is a pattern from October House Fibre Arts, and I'm blowed if I can find where the pattern is to show you, sorry, but I've put a wee bit of the new Tilda Christmas range on the back and done it on a piece of, I think it was a mystery fabric I got on a pack from Nicola at Number 12 Stitch Co. So, and pretty sure that's called Four Colours. I wasn't going to do all the wee doodads that are all around, but anyway, they actually quite make it, so I'm pleased that I did. So that can go in a wee Christmas bowl at some stage when I next decorate for Christmas. And I have these two as well. I think I showed you him last time that I'd found in an op shop in Christchurch. So I've made him put a bit of a cheek on the back and just a plain hanger, and I've just actually threaded a bead, neutral coloured bead there. So he can go on the Christmas tree next year. So it was good to be able to finish someone else's work. And then I've got this wee sampler that what's it called, penny sampler, that I also found sort of half done. So I unpicked what was at the bottom so I could cut it off, and it can just go in a bowl. And I've put a wee bit of, I think that's a Liberty on the back. Love these wee hanging flowers there, gorgeous. So that's my finish of that, and that can go in a bowl at some stage. I need to resurrect doing my bowls in the kitchen. And the other thing I've been into after using that 22 count fabric is I've got this book here. It came with a thread and some fabric in the front of it. ABC Miniatures Francois Pro. It could be an out of print book, I'm not sure. I've had it for a little while. So I fished out some of the Milton ladies. Right, I can show you some pictures in here of what these are before they're just really wee tiny miniature ABC samplers. These two are so tiny. Ones there. So I got out a piece of her the white fabric that she'd given me, and I soaked it and put it in the washing machine, and it softened it all up, and I started doing some of these wee samplers. So that's on the fabric, which is 22 count, and it is using my favourite red, which is 498 DMC, and it was 2005 I think, so I've changed it to 2025, so that might sort of explain how old the book is. So I've done that one and this one, and I'm just going to make them into wee pillows and put them in amongst my bowls, but I did think that actually looked quite cute on the Christmas tree, and I finished that wee one last night. And something so tiny, there are so many mistakes. It's like, oh, give up, Fiona. So yeah, they were fun to do. What else have I worked on? I don't sort of really have any whips actually at the moment. I sort of kept my December stitching till I got the Christmas box from the Stitchery Sisters, which I do have finally arrived during the week. And I was going to stitch that sampler, but which I'll show you in a minute, but they didn't actually post it until the 1st of December, so it's taken a wee while to get here, so it kind of took the gloss off it being a start in December sort of project. So this is the sampler that I've got everything for, which is lovely, and I possibly would have started, but I just don't feel like starting a sampler at the moment. So it came with the threads, which are all weeks, and I thought there was one Classic Colourworks, but they're all lovely threads, lovely colours. It's come with the ring bling with the wee house on it, and floss cards, but I don't actually use those, so I'll put them away for something. So there was also 7, it came with a linen as well, which is vellum by Picture This Plus, 36 count. Sorry about the noise and crunching. There were 7 envelopes to open, so I've sort of opened one a day. So I've got a grime guard, which I don't use Q-snaps, so I'll find someone who uses a Q-snap. Some Stitches lotion, hand cream, which I've never tried. I do have dry hands, so I'll try that. A wee needle threader that I opened this morning. And everything's in lovely wee bags with the wee sticker and number on it. Oh, it smells divine. These are melt things for, candle melt things. They smell lovely. They do have bits of plant in them though, so I'm surprised it got into New Zealand, but anyway. And the other thing was this wee jute bag that came with it. So not sure what I'll do with that, but anyway, it's a lovely sampler, so when that's all unpacked, I'll pop that away in my kitted up projects. What else do I have here? Oh, I kind of do have something else I've worked on. Sorry, it's not cross stitch, but it's in my Princess and the Pea bag, which I think was a Susan Smith club thing I joined one year, and I think it was maybe 4 or 5 full projects. So that was one I did. And I don't have the picture of the pattern either, but it's the carousel pattern. So I finished off that one. I think I've got 6 to go well, now 5 to go, to complete them all and make up the quilt. So I've been working on the pieces of those. Just some easy hand sewing. Another one. And then I'm in the process of putting that one, pinning all that, putting that one together. So that's been something I did work on since I last filmed. Put that over there. I've got some books that I got into since. I'll bring these over. So this is my favourite magazine, Country Living's Vintage Home. No, I've got all of them, managed to get all of them. Number 7's just come out in New Zealand. So, but it's just full of such just beautiful images. Even the cover, all those colours together, the pink and the mustard and the green, just gorgeous. Yeah. So yeah, I enjoy them. More like a book really. They're an expensive magazine, but they're more like a book. And another book I had arrived was this classic quilts from the American Quilts at the British Museum, and it's full of gorgeous quilts. Lots of them. I'd love to go to this museum and have a wee look. Look at that, beautiful colours. So there was one I found when I flicked through before I sat down to film. I love these log cabins. I've never really done a really good log cabin. That page. And that's kind of a wee log cabin sort of talking to me at the moment. Here's a lovely one I found before I sat down. Of course, now I can't find it. Look at that brown and white fabric there. Isn't it beautiful? Where is this one? It's Murphy's Law, isn't it? When you... Oh, there we go. I just love these colours. Just beautiful. There's a bit more of a close-up on that side. I don't even know whose quilt it is or how old it is. It's a wool applique one from 1830 from New England. It's just gorgeous. Anyway, so that's it. Adding in a bit of quilts. This is a bit of a quilt one. And this wee book I found for is this the one I paid 20 cents for at the hospice shop? I think it was. So this is lovely. It's got some really nice miniature needle point in it, but you can do it in cross stitch. I could probably do it on that 22 count. I really love that blue and white one. It's just gorgeous. And actually I should cut this up. There's a tiny wee sampler in here as well. So I've got a creamy piece of that. My new favourite 22 count. So I might cut that up later. What else have I got here that I can just make sure I keep stick to my plan? I've got a bit of haul. A few patterns. And I don't know whether I've shown some of this, but I don't think I have. So this one I got from, is it Ruthie Ruthie at Crow's Feet Stitching. That's a Christmas one. She had a wee sale on her in her Etsy shop, and I think Michelle at Mummy Loves You GB had shown this, so I got that and added that to my Christmas stitching at some stage. I went out to see Ginny at the Crafty Briar, which was out in Mosgiel, for those of you who don't know or come down here and might want to go. I always love these wee Christmas ones, and she has such beautiful Christmas stitching around her shop. It's gorgeous. It's worth a visit if she's open. I also got some things from Helen at That Crafty Kiwi. So I'm really into Teresa Kogut at the moment. So I got that centre, which I think was from the Jingle Ball book last year. I got that one, which is the Country Centre. Yep, Country Centre. So he's lovely. I've got a nice Valdani red that would look good for him. A Noel Tuffet by Shakespeare's Peddler. I thought that was nice. I don't know why that's in there, but anyway, I do like it. Maybe I just saw it and thought I needed it. This is Pink Coat Centre by Teresa Kogut. He's lovely. And somewhere here I have a plastic bag, so you might get Glare Blue Coat Centre. So I've cutted that up, and I did get out a piece of 40 count because I thought I might like to try 40 count, but think I've chickened out from 40 count, so I'll change that when I've finished here. And I also got from her Walker Sisters the new Blackbird book that's out, and I think there is 5 projects based on 2 antique samplers stitched by sisters. The one I did love, I thought was really gorgeous, was this smaller one, Sweetheart's Delivery, which I think she designed this piece to rejoice the day her granddaughter Ruby was born. It's designed by Alma Allen and stitched by Pat Ryan. That blue house, love that. So 2 samplers, I can quickly flip through here. There's Hannah Hawker, so that's her sampler. And then this is Jane Hawker. So they're the 2 sister samplers that the projects in the book is based on. So that was from Helen. I also did the Jingle Ball. And so I do have a few patterns from there. Not all of them are printed off. But anyway, I've got the Jeanette Douglas's wee pin pillows. And they're cute. They'll go on for Christmas stitching. I really like Tiny Modernist patterns this time round. I don't have a lot of her patterns, but I thought this was beautiful. So got that. I think that was also in the book last year. And I got the mystery stitch along piece as well. I thought that just as a decoration by itself would be lovely. And I think a lot of these patterns will be available in a year if they were exclusive ones. I thought that wee deal was quite old worldy. It's lovely. And then the last one was the stockings. So they'll go for Christmas stitching. And then I won't go through and show you these because you've probably seen them all, but I did get the Stacey Nash. That's her freebie one. And the needle book from last year, and the other couple of needle things that she had this year. I think one was a sewing roll and something else. I've got a wee bit of op shop haul here. I don't know if I've shown you these or not. I picked this up in Christchurch. That's an autumn piece by the Drawn Thread. It came with all the threads. I think I did maybe show you that. I don't know. This is another Drawn Thread piece, that cute wee house. And then these Hummel, quite like these Hummel ones. I vaguely think I did show you, and the blue tin, which was nice. So I got another tin down in Invercargill this week. I had to go down, so I found this yellow tin, which I didn't actually realise until I washed it and looked up closer. It's actually a wee reindeer running around, so that's cute. What did I put? Oh, I got a few threads. So it's got some threads in there that I got down while I was down there. What else is in here? Oh, a bag of a trim. So that was good. That tin was 50 cents. So I thought that was... Sorry, that was a bit loud. Picked up this wee Dimensions cross stitch pattern. It's got some, pattern there, but it does have the threads. A silk ribbon embroidery book. I do pick up those on occasions too because they're not put out now, and I want to have a go at that. And I do have some of the ribbons. And then I've got the books. So I've also got a few. Well, that shows up really well on camera. In real life, it's actually quite hard to see. Got that strawberry piece. These are just some, doilies and textile pieces I got. This is like a centre, big oval centrepiece thing. But I love those flowers around the edge. I've sort of got a bit of a plan of something to do with some of these pieces. And that wee one. And that's my favourite stitch, that wee blanket stitch with those wee flowers in the middle there. Gorgeous. And I thought this was beautiful, but unusual, that it's the shape of the basket. But it's beautifully stitched. It's gorgeous. And then a couple of tapestries. Get rid of that wee bit of rubbish. Which way up am I here? I got both of these for $5, so I thought they needed rescued. So that lovely yellow one, pop that there, and then this one's my favourite. Isn't that gorgeous? I don't know whether to frame it or just hang it on the wall. I do have a couple around the place that are just hung on the wall, so I might just do that. Actually, I should have a tapestry wall. So, yeah, I thought that was beautiful. What else do I have here? I have an antique sample to show you that I don't think I've shown you before. This wee one here, I got here in New Zealand, maybe last year. I can't, from an antique shop, but I can't online, but I can't find who they were to check back and see if they have ever had others, because it was quite reasonably priced. So it reads, God keep you safe throughout the night from candle until morning light. When you awaken, kneel and pray. God keep you safe throughout the day. And that's pretty worn down the bottom there. Oops, wee bit's falling off now. But it does say on the back, 1928, Winifred Jane Blandford, nee Timewell, my paternal grandmother. So I imagine that's sort of saying that Winifred, I don't know whether she's, maybe she did this in 1929, she can't have done this in 1928, it seems older than that. But I gather that Winifred stitched it, so yeah, I need to get that put in the frame. It's still got its, as you can see there, the board and the fabric that it was stitched to, but yeah, it's pretty delicate, really. Actually, I wonder if it's the same, what the colour's like on the back. I haven't looked at that one yet. The thread almost looks like two colours in the thread, but I imagine that's from the fading. So I think the last couple of things I have here to show you are my travel folder for when I go away at Christmas time. We're going to Australia for a wee while, and then very excitingly we're going to India for 3 weeks in January. So I've got a lot of time on planes and I needed some stitching. So I made a wee hussif. Just open that button there. Open it and see so that's the outside of it. And I already had all these French general wee squares all sewn together, so it worked out perfectly. And then on the inside, I put like a needle book at the top, but underneath is a wee pocket with some spare lovely pony needles that I like. And then on that side are the wee travel scissors that I travel with. A few needles. Wee pocket there, and it's got my wee Liberty pin cushion that I made. I don't know why, because I don't know if I've got pins, but anyway, I've got needles. And then I've got that wee pocket down the bottom, which has got a really thin little, I think it had peppermints or something in it, little case that I use to put stuff in. And then this lovely wee one that I got from the Cruel Goblin in Sydney. Don't even know what I've got in there. It's a bit hard to open. What have I put in there? Oh, actually I was going to take some patchwork with me, so I've got some bobbins of sewing thread in there. So that all does up quite nicely and quite compactly to go onto my bag. I've got a beautiful button, which I think maybe I got from Vicky in Australia. So there's that, and then I have this other travel pouch that I've made just out of a piece of old quilt. Got a wee collage thing on the back there, and inside I've got it tied together with some dyed seam binding, and then some lovely beads on the, say still beads, some lovely beads on the end there. And inside I have 6 pockets. So there's 3 on each side. You can see there. And I've used, you know, lovely doilies on each end and some of my lovely ribbon. So the projects I'm taking away are, I can't show that, I haven't got the pattern, just the photocopies. So that's Stacey Nash Millie Elephant. So I'll have a emotional support elephant with me, travelling with me. I've got these jolly and bright Kathy Smith Christmas decorations to stitch on. And I'm using a nude, I don't know, maybe I talked about it before, that new sticky solvy, you know, like a sticker, and you can put it through your printer. So I'm having another go with that. What's in here? I've got 2 of these miscellany pieces from Scarlet Glitter. So I've started outlining the one with the crocodile, and I've got stuff to do, the outlining of the parrot. Yeah, the parrot there, with all this time that I'm going to have. I wonder if I'll get actually anything done. Probably not in India because it's quite full on, but on planes I will. So get rid of my threads, and that's sort of the outlining I've done on the first piece of that project, the top one with the crocodile. So, and I enjoy that, so that's probably the one I'll kind of gravitate to. Then I've got my January Blessing sampler, which is a pattern that Susan kitted up for me one year for Advent. I'll find it here. And this is by the Humble Stitcher, and it's a Sarah Sykes sampler. So it's an adaptation of an antique sampler. So that's nice and little to stitch, and that can be my January Blessing sampler. And then what have I got in here? My last one's a red treble sampler from the Ooh La La Blackbird book. And I don't have the pattern, sorry, no, I have the pattern. I don't have the cover piece to show you what it is. And that's all my threads for the miscellany stitching. Should I get onto the colour and stop the outlining? One thing I do want to show are these clover needle holders. They're really good. Like, I'm doing a lot of that black outlining, so they're really good. I can got wee numbers around them here. Like you put your needle in, and you can load up like 10 needles and thread. You can just see there, and it just winds around, and you pull out. You can pull out your needle from anywhere, and it comes out all right. But that's quite a good way to have. If you haven't seen those, or you have and wondered about them, a good way to keep your 10 needles loaded up at any one time if you're doing just one colour. So the other thing I brought over today to show you, half an hour, that's all right, a quick one. I got this Prairie School Centre out. Oh, it's a bit see-through, isn't he? Sorry. Just to see whether I could make him up into a Christmas decoration. I started stitching him, and I decided I didn't like the black fabric, which I thought was Ada, but I think it's actually an even weave now I look through it. But he looks a bit forlorn just holding his arms out there like that. So I got the pattern out, and I thought, oh, maybe I actually need to add a duck or something that he's feeding so it looks a little bit better. So he'll wait for another Christmas. But he was in my project roll, which is actually one that my friend Lynn in Boston made for me years ago, and did all that lovely embroidery. So what I thought I might do is just go through everything that's sitting here in front of me now in my small roll. I've got a bigger one as well, so we'll probably go from things that I've only just done, which is the red sampler from the Ooh La La book. That's my treble sampler. I'm going to put these, and then I've got my emotional support rabbit, Maggie May. This is a Nikki's Creations pattern. which I thought would make a wee pillow, but it's actually quite big, so I might have to frame that. And that's on Fox and Rabbit white clay linen, which is really a lovely colour, really nice. I should actually cut off the bottom because I've got quite a bit left over there. This is Stacey Nash Rose Cottage, maybe, but that needs framed. It looks lovely. They've got them framed up at Annie's and they're just beautiful. That needs framed. This I did at the start of the year, Susanna Sugden, and this is a pattern by GGR, and I think that's what I used for my blessing sampler at the start of this year. So been pretty good because I'm up to 46 finishes this year for various things that I've stitched. What's this one? Isabella Hughes, 1852. I'm not sure I can tell you where this pattern came from, sorry. I'd have to look in my finished folder. But that's another one I finished at the start of this year. Excuse me, coughing. I think that's probably all in DMC. Actually, I feel like a coughing fit coming on. I might just stop for a second.